All praises to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah Kwadash, the one understood the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the nation of Israel. I just want to make one quick point, and then, Lord, will I just end the lesson after this, man? And it's that right now you're seeing these Edomites, right, talk about, oh, we're justified in being racist towards so-called black people because we've had black fatigue, we've had enough, right? We've had enough of what they're doing with this and with that, right? We've had enough of them doing this and doing this to us and getting away with it, saying this and getting away with it. We've had enough of this and enough of that, right? But I want to know this question, man, or I want to put this thought into the world, Lord, and Lord willing, this is based on the Holy Spirit, man, that I'm saying this, right? That would these same people that say, oh, they're justified now for doing what they're doing, right? Well, the same people that are saying this did they think that would they have thought that the so-called black people that went through the Atlantic slave trade would have been justified for slaughtering all the people that put them in the Atlantic slave trade as soon as they had the freedom and power to try and fight back? Would they have thought that they were justified right then after they've directly been in captivity and all the people that they say we shouldn't talk about because we ain't never been a slave? No, I'm on about the actual people that were the slaves, the physical actual, not the descendants, the actual physical people, right? Would they have been justified for slaughtering the people that have them in captivity, and if they get the power, putting them in captivity as revenge and as justice for them doing that to them? What say you, right? Now, on another one, all the people that came when the Christopher Columbus and all these Edomites came over, all these so-called white people came over to the land of America, the very first day, right? Would the Native Americans have been justified for slaughtering all of those people that came over there and anyone else that ever came over there? Because that's their land. Don't come over here. Would they have been justified for doing that? Because they've just had enough of people keep coming and invading their lands. What say you? Or do people that want to say that white people are justified right now because they've got black fatigue, right? When according to prophecy, and I gotta get this, according to prophecy, really, everyone's having Edomite fatigue. That's what it really is, right? Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 2. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Really, people are gonna have Edomite fatigue. They're gonna despise you, Edomites. But you Edomites have to try and blame us, because that's what you always do, right? But everyone's having Edomite is gonna, and if they're not now, they're gonna have Edomite fatigue, man. That's gonna be the real fatigue that people are gonna have, so-called white people fatigue, right? But I just wanted to put them thoughts out there. Now let's go to another thing, right? Nobody, all these people that are complaining about October this and October that, right? Well, those people in the land of Gaza, would they be justified, or should they be justified for doing what they supposedly did to those people over there because they've been getting slaughtered for a long time? Should they be justified, or do you not justify it when it's people that don't look like you? When it's people that look like you on the receiving end of violence, is it all of a sudden savagery? But when the people on the receiving end of violence don't look like you, and the people that are giving out the violence look like you, then all of a sudden it's a problem. It's not a problem, is it, anymore? And that's the hypocrisy of you Edomites, man. But the scriptures and prophecy states this, and I've got to read it and I'm done with the lesson. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. And that's what we're patiently waiting for. All you Edomites have got left is Jacob's trouble and the pushing of the MOTB, your part that you're going to play in World War III. And after that, the last part of prophecy that you're going to fulfill is 1,000 years of captivity, and then being an everlasting forgetfulness of people's minds. Like, oh, what was an Edomite again? Oh, there kind of was a 18th nation once upon a time, but we don't really wonder about them no more because we're just living it up. Anyway, there's a new planet I heard about. You want to come with me? You know what I mean? We might take one of our honeys out, one of our wives out on a date to a new planet, man. You heard there's a new planet in the solar system. You ever heard about it? Oh no, I haven't heard about it. Yeah, I'll take you there. Don't worry, we'll go there together. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna be worried about too much things after you Edomites are done away with, man. We ain't gonna be worrying about you anymore. We ain't gonna. We damn sure ain't gonna mourn for you. The hypocrisy of you Edomites is ridiculous. It's sickening. But you can only justify yourselves in your own eyes, and that's what you'll notice. All the things that you Edomites have did only ever make sense when you're talking about it amongst each other, or amongst sellouts of their own nation, certain Sudanese mans that want to try and pretend like they're so-called white people. You can only get away with all your talking points amongst yourselves. It only makes sense among yourselves. It don't make sense when we speak about it. We see the hypocrisy in everything that you do. All these other nations, they see the hypocrisy that you do. Right? But I just wanted to make that point that they're trying to make it like they're justified to call 5-year-olds the N-word now. But would the slaves in the Atlantic slave trade have been justified for slaughtering every single Edomite that they saw? As soon as they got their slave masters comfortable enough, would they have been justified for doing that? Or would you people say, nah, they weren't justified, they were harming babies? But that baby at that time would have grew up to be a slave master over them. So would they have been justified? Like, what are you people saying? What do you say? Not whether we would be justified as the descendants, the actual physical people that were the slaves, that were getting brutalized, beat to death, and having the slave masters beat their children and harm their children amongst loads of other wicked deeds that they would have did to their children. Would those slaves have been justified for doing evil according to what you say evil is? Or would they have been justified for doing exactly the same thing to the slave master's children? What do you say? Would the Native Americans have been justified of slaughtering every single Edomite that came over to steal their land? Because you Edomites right now think you're justified for fighting against immigrants and running up in hotels that they're in, as if you didn't destroy their land in the first place to make them think that the country that you live in is a better place to live. It's not like these people's countries have not had Edomites in some way, so-called white people in some way, interfere in their country. But you don't want to talk about that part though. And everything that's happening in so-called Gaza right now is an example of what you Edomites did. Interfere, get involved, make the people have to move out of their land, right? And then the people are going to have to naturally move to somewhere else, because what are they going to do? If whoever survives the war, if they can't live in their land anymore, they're going to move to somewhere else. Unless, of course, they all get destroyed, that is. But any survivors leave and move to somewhere else. There's going to be certain people that still will calling themselves American, right, that are going to survive the tragedy, if you want, not, excuse me, let me correct myself, the beautiful day of the destruction of America, which is Babylon the Great. There's going to be certain people that call themselves Americans, but they're going to be in other places of the world, and they're going to go into captivity. But I just wanted to make that point, man, because it's a very good point, in my opinion, that these Edomites now are trying to justify their hatred, right? But would they have said the same thing about our forefathers that went through the Atlantic slave trade? Would they even admit now that, yeah, they would have been justified if they would have slaughtered them people? Would they have been justified if they would have fought back and killed those, unalived those people? Would the Native Americans have been justified, knowing what we know now, that their whole land, whole country ended up getting stolen? Should they have killed, unalived all them Edomites? Knowing what we have seen now, that they ended up ultimately losing their whole country. Knowing what we know now, should our forefathers have absolutely obliterated all them Edomites and never started ever doing any of the work that they was told to do, right? And every single time them masters thought they could go to sleep and lie comfortably in their bed, doing them dirty. Should that have happened? Since you think it's justifiable for all the things that you do and all the hatred that you spew out? But you Edomites are hypocrites and you wouldn't say yes. But then you think because you can't find a good job, right? Because you're actually dumb, even though you want to claim this high IQ stuff, because you're actually dumb and you can't find a job that's good, right? Because you're actually dumb. Not because you got no health problems, not because you've got anything going on that's hindering you, because you're a so-called white man in this world. You ain't got no health problems hindering you in any kind of way to not make you do anything that you want to do in this world. You're just dumb and lazy. but like to call everybody else dumb and lazy. You've got 2 working arms, 2 working legs. You ain't got no physiological problems. You ain't got nothing going on with you that's stopping you from doing whatever you want to do in this world, but you're just not good enough. That's the truth. That's the truth with most of you Edomites. You're just not good enough, mate. You're just not good enough. And it wouldn't matter. And you thinking, oh, if that black man wasn't with that white woman, or if that Indian man wasn't with that white woman, she could be with me. No. She'd just end up dating a better looking Edomite man than you anyway. She'd end up being a second wife or a side chick to one of the elite Edomites because you're just not good enough, mate. You're just not. But you Edomites don't want to hear that though, because it hurts your feelings, but it's the truth. The average of you Edomites, you're just not good enough, mate. And you're hypocrites. And you'll never know. You'll never know what it was like for what you did to us until you're in that same position. Then you're gonna finally understand. Let me get a scripture on that. You'll finally understand what you did to us when you find yourself in the same position. Luke chapter 16 and verse 19. There was a certain rich man, that's talking about you Edomites, which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fed sumptuously every day. That's talking about you whole nation of Edom. And even the ones that are low level, eating out of a bin, right? Be looking at you've got a bin to eat out of. Because if it wasn't for the Atlantic slave trade and what Yahweh gave you the opportunity to do to the children of Israel, you wouldn't even have that bin to eat out of. You'd have to be crushing bugs in the woods or something. But at least every now and again you get lucky and someone threw away like a Taco Bell or something, Chick-fil-A and that, and they threw away half the meal or something like that. Maybe they thought the chicken was a bit undercooked, but you got a Chick-fil-A meal now, homeless Edomite. So you're lucky, mate. Because if it wasn't for that, you wouldn't have even that bin to eat out of. Verse 20, and there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was at his gate full of stores. That's talking about us Israelites, right? We've been put into that begging state, man, where we have to go to our enemy for the want of all things, and we have to march and we have to plead for people to not treat us like shit. And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores, and that's talking about the other nations. They're coming by and they're eating the portion that we're supposed to have, to the point where we can't even have a neighborhood where we've got a corner shop, a hairdresser's, a barber's, a shoe fixing place, a key place, you know what I mean? Some like hardware store and a bigger corner store and a cafe. We ain't even got a one neighborhood that's just got that. Because if we do have it, then you either might start hating, but then at the same time you complain when we move into your neighborhood. So really, just admit that you want us all to die. Just admit it, man. Just tell the truth, and then we'll go from there. Don't be a coward. Just say you want us all dead, and then the Lord's gonna do the rest. Because you're gonna say it anyway. But just say it real. Don't try and make it be like even Haman did that, man. The damn demon, your forefather Haman did that. He couldn't admit that he just hates the Israelites. He had to, you know what, man? It's a lucky how about Shemirosh, right? I almost said forget that scripture, but I want to say this instead. I want to read this instead, man. Because I was just thinking about that now, and I didn't even want this lesson to go long, but let's go to this, right? Because Haman got offended that Mordecai didn't want to bow down. And rather than just admit that he hated Mordecai and he hated the Israelites, right? He made a whole big charade about, oh, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But really, he just hated our guts. Esther chapter 3 and verse 8. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people, neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore, it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. So he made a big lie, trying to make her like we're just violent and we're gonna sabotage the society, right? But that was not true. Verse 9, if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed. And that's what they're getting ready to do now. They're gonna try and put laws in place that are gonna sound like, oh, it's things for everyone. But really, it's gonna have a specific target, the children of Israel. But why have these Edomites never been able to just admit what it really is. Even after Moses, in Moses' time, that Edomite then didn't even admit, you know what, I just don't like you, children of Israel, man. I hate you. He couldn't even just admit, I don't like you and I'm sour because of the birthright. But he was more honest than most Edomites. But he said, if you try and come through the land, I'm going to come up against you with a sword. But he never just said, man, I don't like you, Edomites, man. I hate your guts. King David admitted that he hates you, Edomites. I hate thee. I don't want to hate them that hate thee. I hurt them with a perfect hatred. He admitted it because Israelites are honest. But Edomites can't be honest, man. Verse 9, if it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have charge of the business to bring it into the king's treasuries. And the king took the ring from his hand and gave it unto Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, the Jews' enemy. So he was just our enemy, but he wanted to make it be a thing about, oh, blah, 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 this and that. But he really was just sour because Mordecai didn't want to bow down to him. Right? Let's read it. Right? Let's read it, man. Esther chapter 3 and verse 1. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, which is Agag, right, which means he would be an Edomite, and advanced him and set his seat above all the princes that were with him, and all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the kings had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. And that's the reason why Esau is angry and sour with us now. Because all these other nations, they bow down to Esau, right? They all bow down and they all, let me go back, man. 144, verse 3, the king's servants which were in the king's gate said unto Mordecai, why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, and he hearkened not unto them, that they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for he told them that he was a Jew. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And that's the same thing that's happening now, right? They're sour that we don't want to bow down, right? Let me highlight that, man, for next time, man. They're sour that we don't want to give them, that we don't want to bow down to them, right? Verse 6, and he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people, verse 6 again, and he had thought to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai, wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews. You see what I mean? So all you Jakes right now, that you're thinking, oh, I don't believe I'm an Israelite, so they ain't going to do nothing to me. I don't believe that even the devil know the Bible. Even the devil know the Bible. Israelites are dusty. Israelite, mate, you not calling yourself an Israelite does not mean that you're not one. Just like how, according to what you, from your side, what you think, us not calling ourselves black men doesn't mean that we're not that. That's what you think, but really we're not black, because there was a time when we wasn't calling ourselves black. The Israelite name has been around since the book of Genesis. You can't find in the Bible, in the book of Genesis, any nation called black. Neither can you find in a nation called Jew. Neither can you find in a nation called Greek. You can find a tribe called Judah, but you can't find a nation called Jew. You can't find a nation called Greek. You can't find a nation called Roman. You can't find it in there, right? Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai. And that's what's going on right now with the elect of the nation of Israel. We don't want to bow down to Esau. The rest of the nation of Israel, they're down to bow to Esau, man. They're through. But the elect of the nation of Israel, and I'm not trying to make it like I am the elect of the nation of Israel, but I want to be, though. But we don't want to bow down to Esau. We ain't trying to bow down to Esau, man. Forget him. We don't want to bow down to this wicked ass world. But they are down for that. And because of that, Esau is trying to come up with ways to try and tactically attack what we're doing on, and he's using his own Edomites that are going to say profane things, are going to be racial towards little children and all that, to be like, yeah, it's really outrageous that people are just spewing such hate these days. I think we need to write into law that you can't speak like this, either online or public. Now, that's going to be an attack really at the Israelites. That's not an attack at some Edomite woman that wouldn't really be brave to stand on her own 2 feet in public and say anything that she wants to say. She wouldn't talk like that in front of another Edomite. She wouldn't in front of a Jake, really. If she would thought that she was just going to have to defend it herself, she wouldn't do that. She wouldn't be brave enough. Most you Edomites are not brave to really say these things where it would be just you having to defend it. You get brave because of the society system that's set up right now. And that's why when that lockdown came in the UK, man, a lot of you Edomites wasn't even coming at your house. A lot of y'all wasn't even coming at your house, man. You were scared. Let's get this. Revelation chapter 13 and verse 8. And all that dwell on the earth shall worship him whose names are not written in the book of the life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. Right? Most of the world, just like how back then people was down to bow down to Haman, most of the world is right now, but to prepare to bow down. They're going to happily take the MOTB, man, once things start really getting hectic. How many people was really against taking the C19er? All these people that talk tough. Oh, you can't tell me what to do. God can't tell me what to do. I'm going to eat pork if I want to eat pork. All these people that talk all of that, they didn't just do whatever they wanted to do when that lockdown came, though, did they? They bowed down to Haman. You understand? They bowed down to the nation that Haman now represents, the Edomites. They bowed down. And they did all that. All these different people in all these different countries around the world, they all agreed to the exact same nation, Haman. Esau, man. The Edomites, they all bowed down. Same thing now. But the Israelites ain't. Neither did we. Some did, but the elected nation of Israel never took that thing, though. They never took it. Now, let me go back to this. Luke chapter 16. Right? Because you Edomites ain't going to know all the things that you put us through until you find yourself in that position. Luke chapter 16 and verse 21. And designed to be fed with the crumbs that fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores. And that's all you other nations that are not Israelites or Edomites. You came and you stole part of our portion as well. And built wealth, added wealth onto your nations extra, which that little small portion could have at least helped our nation a bit more. But you've even stole that. So you're not guiltless either. Verse 22, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abram's bosom. The rich man died also and was buried. Because the end of all of our nations is coming, man. And the end of our nation is going to be everlasting life. Right? The end of our nation is going to be that we end up receiving the everlasting kingdom. Right? The end of Esau's nation is that he's going to end for real. The end of all things, is going to get ready to be established, man. The end of Israelites, right, is that we live forever. Each individual Israelite is going to live forever, man. There's going to come a day where every single brother that has watched one other brother's video or whatever, we might see them in real life in the kingdom only, which day is going to be a great reunion of every person that gets beamed up anyway in them chariots, right? But then we might not see each other for a time after that. And we might see each other again after thousands of years or whatever in some cases, man. Who knows how it's going to go down in that regard. But it's going to be beautiful whatever happens. And it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by angels and into Abram's bosom. The rich man died also and was buried. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. So while they're starting to catch hell, right, they're going to start realizing that we ain't catching hell. Because that's what Edomite's worst thing, man. They don't mind even being in a hell, in a hell type state, as long as when they look over, we're doing worse. Esau don't mind having 3 teeth in his mouth, as long as when he looks over, he sees Jake with 2 teeth or 1. He don't care. because he's just a sicko. He's a creep. And he cried, verse 24, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus. The nerve of what Esau's going to try and do, man. And this might literally happen, man. Esau might literally see Abraham in the kingdom and be like, yo, Father Abraham, can you please send, like, the nerve of Esau to do that? To think that they can try and not ask Abraham to do it, to ask us to do it. you know the nerve of that. Here it is, they've kicked our ass so badly all over the world, right? And when it really goes down, they're going to ask Abraham to try and get us to help him. Not to ask Abraham for help, to try and get us to help. To try and get some ease upon what they're going through. And might try and make their captivity a bit easier. Huh? What are you talking about? After what y'all have did to us already, and what you're getting ready to do in Jacob's trouble. The nerve. But let's see what Abraham's going to say when they ask this. Verse 24, and he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me and send Lazarus, that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. Verse 25, but Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime, remember this lifetime that he's talking about is their kingdom. Remember thou in your kingdom, right, receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. So all this talk about how we're equal with them and all that, that's not true. We ain't never been equal with them. And us being able to get on a program, to get a certain job or an apprenticeship or whatever it might be, a so-called DEI hire and all that, that's not equal, because they're still the ones giving out the job. And if at any moment they decide to not do it, they can, because they came up with that whole DEI hire thing anyway. They came up with all these so-called initiatives anyway. And if, at any moment, if they decide to change them or take them away, then they can. And they do, and they will. So what's that really worth? Right, verse, and this ain't me attacking nobody that says anything neither. I'm just saying that they can take that stuff away at any time. So it's not ever equal. Verse 25, but Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime received thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. Exactly. Remember in their time when you was lynching them, when you was doing this, when you was doing that, when you was book breaking, when you was mashing out their teeth, force feeding them sludge to keep them alive, to torment them even more. When you was going on into their wives, when you was reading them, making them a slave Bible and dumbing them down, telling them that they can't read, telling them that they couldn't fly planes, telling them that they couldn't box because they wouldn't be good enough. But that turned out to be a lie, because we're the face of boxing. Telling them all these things, man, just lying. Telling them that they're dumb, telling them that they're low IQ. Now it's their time to have a fun time, man. Leave them alone, man. Don't even talk to them. Don't even think about trying. In fact, really, you shouldn't have even told me, because I'm part of that side too, and I'm gonna tell them. So you shouldn't even, don't think because I'm your grandfather in the flesh that I'm your grandfather in the spirit, because I'm part of the Israelites. I ain't part of you. I ain't part of your thing. Like, what do you want from me? You already had your chance, man. What more do you want? You had your kingdom, man. What's your problem? Yahweh gave you a couple of kingdoms on earth. So what's your problem? Just calm down. It will all be over in 1,000 years. That's the best Abraham's going to be able to tell you. Don't worry, my son. It's only 999,999. You know what I mean? There's only 999 years left. Then after a year later, there's only 998 years left. Then in the last year, there's only 1 year left. There's only 11 months left. There's only 10, 9, 8, 7. There's only 7 days left of this. Don't worry. It's going to be all right. There's only 5 days left. There's only half an hour left, and then you're good to go, mate. There's only 5 minutes left. There's only 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. Sayonara. Good riddance. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 18 fulfilled. You don't have to suffer no more, Esau. That's the best y'all can hope for. But as far as a good day in the kingdom, I wouldn't bank on it, mate. I'd say you're better off getting a good day now. So if you live around an Israelite man or whatever, don't try and antagonize him. Just go on a holiday, live your life, do something nice, man. Take your wife out somewhere nice. Go down to a night. Go. You ain't ever been Shard before when you live in London? Go Shard. You ain't ever been down Brindley Place, and you're from Berms? Go Brindley Place, man. Go Broad Street. Go Brindley Place. You know what I mean? There's a couple of nights. Go Brindley Place or something. You know what I mean? Go to a nice restaurant or something, man, in Berms and that. You know what I mean? Go somewhere nice, man. Or you're from Manny and that. You're from Manchester. Go somewhere nice. Or you're from America. Go somewhere nice, man. Sunset Boulevard. Go somewhere. Go gallivant yourself or something, man. Don't start trying to worry about what Israelites are doing. Just have as many fun days as you can in your lifetime. But even I'll say this in regard to that. I'll say this, right? Even doing that is still not going to make you be able to forget what's happening to you in that moment. But you'll at least have did those things though. But it's still not going to stop anything. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 and verse 25, in the day of prosperity, there's a forgetfulness of affliction. And in the day of affliction, there is no more remembrance of prosperity. So even if you did do those things, right, it's still not going to make you forget what you're going through during the time when you're going to be going through it as a result of what you've did to us. But you'll at least have did it though. You know what I mean? Wisdom of Solomon 2 goes into how the wicked thinks you're the wicked. And it goes into how they say, okay, our life is short and tedious. Let us just live and enjoy life. So why aren't you Edomites following that? That's you. That's you. It's the wrong thought for you to think that, but you may as well do that. You may as well live it up and enjoy as much as you can, because it's almost time for y'all to be out of here, mate. Out of here. It's almost time for y'all to be nothing anymore. You're going to be nothing on earth, and physically people are going to be looking at you and be like, man, is this the man that shook kingdoms? Is this the man that was talking about being high IQ? Is this the man that had the power to cancel people and censor people? Is this the man that we had to go to get a job? Is this the man that had access to most of the gold reserves in the world? Is this the man that was doing insider trading in the stock market? Is this the man that was making a cashless society and made a cashless society? Is this the man that shook the world? This guy, him. You're going to even have heathens be talking about Kal Halai Hawaba Shem Yahshua in the kingdom, man. Even they're going to be grateful. They're going to even be grateful, man. Especially after their 1,000 years is up. They're going to even be grateful. They're going to like, man, phew. At least, and then when they see what happens to Esau, I'm like, phew, at least we're in an Edomite. Because now we got a chance to know that we better not try and do what the Edomites ever did, or that's going to be us next. That's what it says in Isaiah 60 and 12, right? The nation that will not serve thee shall utterly perish. They're going to know if they don't want to bow down either, that they're going to have to get Obadiah. That they'd get that same kind of treatment too. But they are going to bow down though. So they ain't going to have to go through that. Let's read the last bit of this. Verse 24, and he cried, no, verse 25, but Abram said, son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things, but now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. And beside all this, between us and you, so Abraham's part of that us, Abraham's part of the Lazarus part, man. Between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that they which would pass from hence to you cannot, neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. So there ain't going to be no Edomite under the new covenant. There ain't going to be no heathen under the new covenant neither. None of them dogs are going to be under the new covenant either. And they're going to lick your sores, man. They're going to be snitching on you. There's going to be Moabite Uncle Toms in the kingdom. Master, they are trying to betray you. They're going to snitch. You know what I mean? There's going to be some Uncle Ruckus, some Uncle Ruckus Moabite. Some Uncle Ruckus Moabite, man. Some Uncle Ruckus Ishmaelites in it. And Ishmaelites really already don't like you Edomites anyway. And they're going to like you a hell of a lot less after what you're going to do to them even in World War III. They already don't like you. A lot of them already know that we're really the children of Israel. They don't like you. They really don't like you Edomites, man. Like as far as the nations go on earth, the top two obviously are the Israelites and the Edomites, right? But then if it come in like the top, talking about who's the top three nations, it's kind of like, well, the Ishmaelites are kind of up in there. Then the Elamites are kind of there too, and then the Moabites are kind of there. But the Ishmaelites really, because of they really don't like you Edomites, man. So they're gonna be snitching on you Edomites and trying to see if they can get a chance to F y'all up too. Every nation don't really like you, but for the money's sake, they kind of let certain things slide, man. But I'm gonna end this video there anyway because I didn't want to even make this video go that long. But it's just something that I think about, things that I think about when I hear the hypocrisy of you people, of these Edomites talking like we're the ones ruining the whole earth. Really, like they're really actually trying to push that out there. But the only people that believe it really are their own people. They're able to make themselves seem like they know what they're talking about in their own eyes, but really they don't know what they're talking about, man. They're full of it. I'm gonna end the lesson there, Shalom.